Hello, my name is Chris Lambert. This is the first video I've ever done like this. Although I've had many adventures in my lifetime, this is the first one I've ever got on camera. Hopefully it won't be the last. Like all good stories, there's a beginning, and this one begins in mid-February. I was over at my best friend's shop, and we was talking to a young lady that was going through some difficult times and battling severe depression. And I was telling her that she needed to get out and live life, see things, do things. Then I started thinking, it's been a while since I went out and did things, saw things. And as my wife says, I'm going through a midlife crisis. My youngest son graduated on May 15th. I turned 50 on May 16th. I went on this adventure on Monday, May 17th. So I'm not going to go into the details of the trip. I'll wait till afterwards. I'm not going to mess up the video with any commentary. I'll just let the video play. But this was done. I got it in my head that I wanted to do something epic, do something I've never done. Although I've done some day hikes and camping, I've never done anything like this. I got to say it was a great experience, and hope y'all enjoy the video. And afterwards, I'll give some insights of the trip and some details and some final thoughts. Enjoy. About to leave the house on my 50th birthday adventure, headed to Springer Mountain, Georgia. Hey Siri, I need directions to Springer Mountain, Georgia. Here we go. Here we go. Blaze number one. And officially, our journey starts. Blaze number two. One thing I figured out, I like going downhill a lot better than I like going uphill. Day 3 begins. This is going to be interesting. We may have wet feet today. All right.
up and down, 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 up and down. More to come. Get on out of here. I do not want any part of you. Do I run? Do I don't know what to fucking do. Run! Go, move, do something. Mr. Snake, you have a nice day, but hopefully I will not be seeing you again. Here we go. Yeah, we're almost there. We got a little bit more to go up. What a view. Alright, gotta use the poles. What a day. Just the view. Oh, excuse me. And this is where it stops.
I hope y'all liked that. It really was that beautiful, and I had a fantastic time. And like I said, this idea started back in February. I had it in my head, and I spoke it out loud. And as long as it's in my head, I don't usually do anything with it. But if I ever say I'm going to do something, I do it. And so I started preparing, started watching videos and getting my gear together. And I had a death in my family, and family came in from out of state, and my mother stayed with me, and she was a little bit concerned about my decision to go do this. And like everybody that I told, she was like, "You're crazy." And she was like, "Who's gonna go with you?" And I was like, "I'm gonna do it by myself." And she was really concerned. But then we started watching videos on YouTube, and she got to where that she fully supported me. And she sent me for my birthday a tripod and some lighting to help me make my video. And this video is for her, and she was my biggest supporter and my biggest fan. And I hope my mother enjoyed this video. I tried to take her every step of the way. From the top of Springer Mountain, I FaceTimed her until I texted her and sent her pictures. And when I got on top of Blood Mountain, I FaceTimed her, and she got to see it in real time. And I hope she enjoyed as being there with me as I did having her along the way. When I got to the top of Springer Mountain and signed the registry, I put her name beside mine because she was with me every step of the way. But the adventure began on Monday, May 17th. I left Burnsville, Mississippi, and headed to Springer Mountain, Georgia. I got to Springer Mountain, the parking lot there. I met a hiker, Ducky. She was just finishing her first half of her through hike. She had started halfway and went south. She's on flip-flop and go back to halfway and go north to Katahdin and finish her hike. I was able to do a little trail magic for her before I started my hike, and that made me feel good. And she was a very nice person to start my trip with. And she camped right there at the parking lot. I made my way up to the top of Springer and back down. And I made my way to Stover Creek Shelter. About 8:30, it was starting to get dark. So I went in and pitched my tent and got everything situated. There was some ladies there and some older gentlemen, but it was getting late, so I didn't mingle, and got myself settled in and went to sleep. It was hiker midnight, so everything got quiet. Next morning, I got up, fixed some coffee, fixed some breakfast, did a little mingling, met some very nice people. I met a preacher. He was 69 years old, starting his through hike. He wanted to turn 70 on the trail. He did a through hike when he was 50, and it's 20 years, and he wanted to recreate it. His friend Carl had drove him to the Springer Mountain parking lot and hiked to the first shelter, but Carl was going back. I met Danny and his son Theo, great people. Theo was 4, just regular 4, no big number in front of 4. He was cute as a button. And I got my camp up and headed out that morning, and Danny and Theo was the first ones out with me. They kind of fell behind, and this is my first hike. I didn't know what to expect or what to do, so I hiked my own hike, and I went on and had a great first morning. Made it up Hawk Mountain to Long Creek Falls. They were beautiful. I met a couple with their dogs. beautiful dogs, great people. I made it on to the Hawk Shelter and Hawk Mountain Shelter. Had lunch there, met some people, a great bunch of guys. We had some good conversations there. And when I left there, I ran into a young fella named Boxer. And he was much faster than I was. He's 22 years old. But we went up Sassafras. And Sassafras kicked my ass, really. I mean, it's probably one of the toughest climbs I had on this trip. But he waited on me and let me get my breath a couple of times. And halfway up the mountain, I'm sitting there over my trekking poles, just dying, just heaving. Just sounded like Darth Vader. And here comes this young lady up the trail, just like it was nothing. She asked if we was doing okay, and Boxer said he was doing fine, and I told her I was dying, and she kind of laughed and went on. And when we got to the top of the mountain, she was doing something, fixing lunch or whatever, and we passed her, and I told her I didn't die, and we started down the mountain. Well, she caught us and passed us, and away she went. And I thought I'd never see her again. We went on, and we made it all the way to Devil's Kitchen. And that's where we got water and made camp for the night. Nice area, the wind was blowing. The weather was beautiful during my trip. It was real nice. We did like 13 miles that day, and it was too much for me. You gotta listen to your body, and my body was screaming. And I told myself that night, if I woke up the next morning feeling like I did when I went to bed, that the next road crossing I come to, I was tapping out. But I got up the next morning early, and that's my dogs. And come here. And I got up the next morning and I was feeling good. And so I went on. Boxer, being a 22-year-old guy, he slept in. I knew he was gonna catch me eventually because I'm slow. So I went on and had a good hike that morning by myself, but he did catch me at the next road crossing. And we hiked on up Gooch Mountain and the Round Rock, and we made it to some nice views, some very nice views. And we made it to Woody Gap. And my knees had started hurting again, so I decided I was gonna get off trail, go to a hospital, and try to get off my knee before I tackle Blood Mountain the next day. Well, just happened at Woody Gap parking lot. I was standing there with Boxer, telling him I see him down the trail when this white SUV pulled up. And a guy got out and asked if we was Oliver and daughter. And I said, no, that was probably the man and girl that was standing over by the bathrooms. And sure enough, Oliver come over and said, that's us. And I asked the guy who he was, and he said he was Nimrod from Above the Cloud Hostel. I said, great, because I was about to call you. And asked him if he had any room, and he did. And so he took my bag, and we went back to the hostel. Fantastic. Nimrod was great. He's a great cook. We had a great dinner that night. It was me and Oliver and his daughter Willow, and a young man named Bert. Funny. He was hilarious. A great bunch of people. But we went to bed, got up the next morning, had breakfast. Nimrod took us back to where we was going. Bert and Oliver and daughter went back to Woody Gap. I decided I was on slack pack from Neels Gap back to Woody. And Nimrod said it would be better on my knees. and be better to get the bad climb up and over early in the morning. So it was a great idea to do that too. So he took me over to Neels Gap, and I started up Blood Mountain. And the mountains you climb, you get to the top and there's no views, they're bad. You cuss them. But you climb those hills and you get to the top and there's a view, you forget about the climb. You forget about everything. You just enjoy the view and you enjoy the moment. And on top of Blood Mountain, you know, it was awesome. I called my mom, FaceTimed her, let her see it firsthand, you know, and I enjoyed the moment. And my boss from work actually texted me and asked me if I gave up, and he just happened to catch me. I was on the observation rock on top of Blood Mountain, the very top of the very top, and I took a picture and sent to him. I was like, nope, did not give up. I'm on top of the mountain. And it was great. It was wonderful. And I headed down Blood Mountain, and it was like I was walking on air. It was like I was flying. If I wasn't flying, like Buzz Lightyear says, I was falling with style. And I was going down the mountain lickety-split. And going down, I happened to run across the young lady that had passed me going up Blood Mountain. Going up Sassafras. And she stopped, and I stopped, and we started talking. She had stayed above the Cloud Hostel the night before I did. And we was just talking about how wonderful it was. She was telling me some about her past, and she went to school close to where I live, and her and her fiance live out in Oregon, and she wants to complete the AT, and I know without a shadow of a doubt she will. She has that determination, and she can do it. And she told me her name, and I told her a little story about my daughter. And when my daughter was real young, she reminds me a lot of my daughter. And she told me her name was Lissa. And it didn't, until she walked off and I started going down, it didn't dawn on me, my daughter's name is Alyssa. And it's just a funny coincidence there. But when I got back to the hostel, I noticed above my locker, there was a package with her name on it. She had made a package to send back home with gear she didn't need. And I thought that was kind of strange that she was right there where my locker was. Then going back over the footage, she had signed the registry right before I did. It's funny how you meet people and you bump into people on the trail here and there. I ran back into Boxer, going up Blood Mountain. I got to see him again. I got to see Oliver and his daughter again the next day. And you just keep meeting people. And like I think I said before, the people are the best part of the trail. I met some incredibly nice people, and people I will remember the rest of my life. But I got over the mountain. I met Bert at the bottom of the Blood Mountain, and we talked for a little bit and resupplied on water there. And he was talking to a fella named Brandon. And me and Brandon started talking. He was a disabled vet, and he was carrying a pretty big load, a big pack. And he was headed the same way I was. So we hiked together, and even though I could hike I was slack packing and I didn't have my big turtle shell on, I could have hiked faster, but it was gonna be my last day on trail, and I thought I'd enjoy it, do it at a slow pace. Maybe my knees wouldn't bother me. we had some very good conversations, Brandon and I. You know, I made a friend there that would probably, if I called on him or he called on me, you know, if I needed something, I'm sure he would be there and I would be there for him. I mean, in just that short, you know, time frame, you get to know people. You get to know people really well. Maybe because you don't think you'll ever see them again, you tell them some things and they tell you things, and you know, people they're carrying a lot of load, not just their backpacks. Some people get out there to, you know, escape things. Some people want to prove stuff. You know, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to experience something. I wasn't running away from anything. I just wanted to prove to myself that I could still do it. And you know, even though I'm 50, I don't take any medication. I'm still in pretty good health, and right now I'm very blessed with that. But we got I finished at the Big Cedar ledges, and right before Woody Gap, going down to Woody Gap, and it was an awesome view, and it was a great way to end the hike. And went on down to the Woody Gap and called Nimrod, and he come got me and took me back to the hostel. The next morning, got up. He took the other hikers that were there that night. The first night I got into Stover Creek, there was Mike, preacher, and Carl, and 3 nurses, and Lissa. And, you know, they was all there that first night. And even though I didn't get to hike with them, I did get to meet most of them in you know, one-on-one or in group settings. And you know, great people. The last night at the hostel, the 3 nurses, you know, they were there, and another fella, and you know, it was a good night, good food, good conversation. And the next morning, I got taken back to my truck. It took about 2 hours to get back to my truck on top of Springer Mountain. When I left there, I went on a run. I got a styrofoam cooler and some drinks, some adult beverages. I headed back over to Neels Gap and got me a pizza and enjoyed my little pizza there at Neels Gap. A little tradition when you go through there. Neels Gap is the only place. Well, Mountain Crossing at Neels Gap is the only place where the AT goes through a building, and there's a doorway, and that's where I stopped, and that's where my adventure will continue in the future. I got some friends, some old friends that when I posted my pictures on Facebook, they want to do it with me. So hopefully I can reconnect with some old friends, and maybe next time make some more new friends. But it was a great experience. Some lessons I've learned on this. You know, people ask me why, and you hear people say you only live once. You know, well, actually, you only die once. You live every day. Live it to the fullest. Every day. I get up every day and give thanks for the day I have. You know, some days it's just work and come home and tired and go to bed, but the next morning I'm thankful to have another day to do it again. And when I got back, the church where my son goes was honoring seniors, and I went and the preacher said some things that morning that really hit home too. You know, if you wake up in the morning and you're not thankful to have another day, you need to, you know, reevaluate your life. You know, maybe you need to move. Maybe you need to find another job. Maybe you need to, you know, get away from where you're at and the influences that, you know, are causing you to feel like you feel, and get away from it. You know, life is short. You know, live every day. Live every day to its fullest. Enjoy the people that are around you, you know, your family, your friends. You know, before I left, you know, I had a 50th birthday party, and all my family that could come did come, and we had a great time. I FaceTimed my mother and all of her brothers. She is the oldest of 7, and, you know, FaceTimed, and all of her brothers and sisters, you know, was there and was telling her hi, and, you know, we had a great time. All my friends, you know, enjoy life and give back. The last thing I did before I left, I took that cooler of drinks and I went on down the trail to Neels Gap, and I did a little trail magic. I met some more people. In the video, there was Alex and Die Hard. You know, I give them drinks. I give them food. You know, I did whatever I could to help them on their way. You know, on the trail and in life. You know, if you can help somebody get a little on further down the road, you know, it's a good life lived. Well, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have. Hope to do this again. I love you, Mom. And I hope everybody has a great day.